Hey everyone, welcome to this quick Saints Row 4 mod showcase. I'm your host, Jen, and I'll be assisted by our feature specialist, Laura.
Hey Jen, and hello to you guys.
Curvenist asked for a short and focused video to properly introduce the gameplay changes he brought to the table. Among these changes, you'll be able to tap into some new quality-of-life features, such as a lowered weapon mechanic, a dynamic camera system swap, various animation tweaks, a time dilation toggle command, which basically gives you super slow motion, weapon modifications, and eventually, a gameplay heads-up on the final act notoriety system, now based on Saints Row the Third enemies. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Steelport.
The first feature we're going to look at is the lowered weapons system. Let's explain briefly. After aiming or firing a weapon, player enters a timed animation loop called Combat Ready. We're going to show you how the game behaves in its default state. As you noticed, after firing a couple of shots, player enters an animation state, holding the weapon at the ready. It lasts even longer during combat phase. There are a few ways to interrupt this animation, either by switching to unarmed or melee weapons, or by triggering any kind of animation breaker.
I've got to admit, it's not very practical.
Indeed, you do notice well. That's why we're now introducing the new feature, a manual lowered weapon system. It creates a smoother and more seamless transition between combat ready and weapons down, while giving you direct control over the animation.
Well, that already looks more like it. But tell me, is this just for looks, or does it bring something new to combat?
That's a good question, Jen. Quick answer? No. It doesn't change your combat mechanics. But it does give you a more immersive way to play through fight sequences. Another notable detail, by pressing lowered weapon and walking left or right, player can now easily switch the weapon to the left or right shoulder, and keep it there, as long as you don't start fine aiming or running in the opposite direction. That's because this feature uses an independent, timed shoulder swap animation node.
That's a cool addition, Laura. Yet Curvenist has more features to show. Let's dive into the second one, the dynamic camera system swap.
Alright, so this feature is a little more useful in fight sequences. Saints Row 4 has a whole panel of dynamic subnoded cameras used in different situations. There's the default city one, platforming, interiors, crouch states, fine aim, vehicles, yada yada. There are a lot of configuration names. But there's also a bunch of dynamic cameras tied to specific missions, and they're actually somewhat customizable. This mod replaces a few of those camera configs to provide at least 3 types of angle. The usual right side camera, a left side camera, very useful when you're firing from right cover, and a central camera. Quick notice, swapping dynamic cameras to others doesn't trigger an immediate change, unless you force it by crouching or fine aiming.
Sums it up pretty well. I can see why this feature matters if you play with a cover-based approach. Now, firing from cover on your right feels a little better, even if playa still holds the weapon on the right shoulder. The shot isn't blocked by the object you're taking cover behind.
Exactly. That's a tactical addition. But it can also serve other creative purposes you may see fit.
Talking about creative purposes, we've got some animation tweaks to show. I guess like me, you've noticed it. The female rifle animation has been replaced with the sniper one.
You're right. All the nodes of the light rifle class have been replaced by the two-handed hold sniper type. But there are also numerous other tweaks, too many to go over in detail in a single video. So aside from the rifle, here's a list of modified animations. Let's start with melee. During a punch combo, the front kick animation was replaced with a side kick. The full sequence now includes either a Superman punch, a haymaker, or 2 side kicks. Still in melee, the super nut shots were replaced by 3 finisher synced moves. These animations were ported from Saints Row the Third, included in the package, but never actually used. There's no custom camera or QTE system tied to them to boost damage. It's simply a nostalgic addition.
That's some really interesting stuff you just dug up. Is it possible to use those finishers, even when playa is holding a weapon?
Of course you can. The weapon will be hidden during the animation, but it will reappear in players' hands at the end of the finishing move. It might look a little weird, so you may want to trigger the holstered weapon function to keep it hidden the whole time. One of the last gameplay features added to Back to Steelport is the ability to perform new dodge moves. Taken from the cop skeleton, player is now able to perform animations like a rollback, which is the default dodge triggered by a simple key press, and directional dodges to the left and to the right. You can choose between 3 dodge types: the large dodge, the default one, the rolling dodge compatible with all weapons, and a short step dodge. These moves are purely stylish, but the back dodge can actually be useful if you need to escape quickly, or create distance with an object without breaking visual contact with what's in front of your character. And before we close this part, here's a final note about the male and female animation preset swap. In some mission sequences, your character, usually the female version of player, may unexpectedly use the male animation set instead of the natural female one. With Sandbox Plus, it was already possible to swap back to the correct animations. But it felt more appropriate to create a dedicated function to load these presets directly. So now it's possible to change your character's animation preset anytime and to your liking.
That's great! Well, thank you, Laura, for those detailed inputs on the animation tweaks. We've almost wrapped up this guide. The next features should be really quick to show, starting with time dilation, and we might check the weapon modifications right after.
Indeed, Jen, this one doesn't need much explanation. It's a super slow motion toggle, and it doesn't work exactly like the slow motion cheat from the phone interface. Here, you also get infinite clip ammo while it's active. Activation is immediate, but expect a short delay, about 2 seconds, when switching back to normal speed. And one more thing, the slow motion value is even lower than the one used in the cheat interface. And now, moving on to the penultimate feature, weapon modifications. Again, there's a lot to cover, but we'll keep it short and simple. These modifications include increased weapon damage to both NPCs and vehicles, some ultimate weapon mods like vampiric ammo that restores health. The handgun SMG has been reclassified as a pistol weapon. Burst rifles are now fully automatic. The sniper rifle no longer uses iron sights. And finally, weapon tracers now use blue-colored textures.
Thank you so much, Laura. Great demonstration of the mod features. Now, we haven't covered every tiny detail, but the majority of the features have been shown on screen. And with that, we're heading into the last part of the video, the final act notoriety system. Curvenist spent some time digging through the NPC data and rank sheets, tracking down the references for each model and group. It took a while, but he managed to recreate a wave system based on custom enemy groups from Saints Row III. Okay, so, wow, that's pretty intense. Maybe this is a good time to highlight one of the functions we haven't talked about yet. What do you say, Laura? Maybe break it down, right after the second action beat?
Well, of course, Jen. We'll be back after the second round.
And that's it for the notoriety system feature. Curvenist took a good amount of time to get that sequence shot working with the music. Laura, I guess there are a few final details you wanted to share before we wrap up this demonstration?
Well, of course, Jen. For that, we need to explain a bit of the technical stuff. In Saints Row 4, spawned NPCs are unique. As long as they're still loaded, either alive or existing as corpses, they can't respawn from the spawn points, whether from teleportals or vehicles. Even if you try to adjust the resurrection timer, the NPC object must first be cleared from memory. So we used a function that manages how many corpses can stay on screen. The lower the value, the fewer corpses remain, once they're out of the player's line of sight. This allows for quicker spawns and more intense enemy waves. One last note. The Sandbox Plus mod can occasionally crash, especially if too many scripted functions are triggered during a session. That said, crashes don't happen randomly or right away. They usually occur after a high number of calls over time. So as long as you don't overload the system, it should run just fine.
Well, I guess there's now just one last thing to say. Thank you, Laura. And thank you all for watching this exceptional mod showcase here on the channel. We hope you found the guide useful and informative. If you want to try it out, the download link is available in the description. And of course,
See you around.